I can't lie, Arsenal fans, yeah. Are we selling Gyokeres and Martinelli? And is it wise to sell Gyokeres and Martinelli? Or is it wise to sell either Gyokeres or Martinelli, people? And I'm just really making this video to, one, get my thoughts across, and two, hear your thoughts. So make sure you join the debate. Now, obviously, my general thoughts are, and I'll try and contextualize things, you know, our evolution in it, like evolution, the squad's evolving. We've seen many players that once upon a time were first names on the team sheet, their stock was kind of high, etc., etc. Time waits for no one. We've seen it with Ramsdale, Tomiyasu, Kieran Tierney, Emil Smith Rowe, and it appears to be Martinelli. And even with Martinelli, for me, it's a weird one because I want to sell him and I don't want to sell him. Now, we ain't got time for sentiment. When you look at when you remove, it's a weird one because how much can you remove emotion out of football, people? That's why we support clubs. That's why we like players. You can have all the tactics and ethos and all of that passion. I could sit here and waffle about Mikel Arteta because I think the man's a genius. But you look at, and I'm not saying anyone that understands football knows what I'm talking about. You could look at Arsene Wenger, Pep Guardiola, Sir Alex Ferguson, Jurgen Klopp, any sportsman, businessman, anyone in your personal life, professional life that's achieved something. Of course, there's many good things they're good at, yeah. But above all, they've got passion, they've got stamina in their motivation. So how much can you remove passion, emotion, and that emotive feelings within football? Because that's, you get it where I'm going with that. But then when you look at the cold-hearted evidence and you look at stuff, it's only sentimental. There's probably only one reason to keep Martinelli, and that's because, for me, I only know about myself, innit? I've given up with that 2022, 23. Can Martinelli be this? Can he be that? If he could do this and that. I accept Martinelli for a tool in a toolbox, innit? And what I mean by that is we know how the Premier League goes, innit? We know how football goes. I would love this, respectfully to Coventry, I love every game for the 38 periods to end 3-0 scoreline. We're not asked any questions. Mascara did well, Raya did well. Genuinely, our defenders did well. But the game was just spent in their half. Unfortunately, that's not football. There's going to be times where we might be away from home or at home and we're under the cosh. Raya's making bare saves. The opposition have hit the post. We're under the cosh, sort of thing. And imagine that same example. Imagine you're into the second half and we're sitting back and the other team's having a gamble. You might bring Martinelli on because, he's a left winger, right? The right back might be, going forward as their team's trying to get the winner. Martinelli might come on for A, to help you defensively, and two, just provide a bit of pace. And he also tactically understands Mikel Arteta's system. That's what I mean by he's a tool in a toolbox. I think the same with Noni Madueke. So I don't necessarily rate Martinelli like that. A part of me feels for Martinelli to get better or whatnot, I do think he needs to leave this system and go elsewhere. And I won't quite say explode and realize his potential, but I do have that feeling you go somewhere else, things can happen. And just generally, when it comes to football and sport, putting down my club cap here, there's no loyalty in football because, the man's clearly a good trainer, never upsets people, says he loves the club, etc. And still, Arsenal, you're not in the matchday squad. You're useful until you're useless. So I'm going to be passionate about that. There's no sentiment in football. There's no loyalty in football, sort of thing. Now, for Martinelli, you joined us at 18 years of age. You've grown up at this football club, essentially. We've seen you get married. You've had some good moments, you obviously, all the attackers, the general debate for this season is our attackers need to show greater consistency and all of those things. Last season, they had moments. Martinelli, obviously, removing yourself from 2022-23, he's bagged against Real Madrid. He obviously helped us with the Everton game. He scored against City. He's had this knack of doing that. And Martinelli in the Champions League versus in the Premier is very different. But, considering he's 18, he's grown up here. We bought him for 6 million, rumored to be going for 60 odd million. He hasn't kicked on. As I said, evolution. Granted, there's a couple of players that I'm going to miss out, but there's only, for me, generally, I feel there's only quote unquote certain players I consider absolute central to this project and unsellable. And like I said, there's different kind of categories in it, but generally, unless it's William Saliba, Gabriel, David Raya, Bukayo Saka, Declan Rice, generally, everything's up for debate. And let's be honest, like Trossard did well last season. He did need to move on. Martinelli passed his sell-by date. When you look at and I know it's not all about stats, but when you look at the numbers, obviously, he's not cutting the mustard left wing. And when you're on them kind of wages there, you need to be moved on. There's a profit to be made there, big profit to be making there. I get all sides. I get Martinelli maybe feeling alienated. And even with the Martinelli stuff, yeah, for the last 2-3 years, the man's been linked with a move away, right? Now, rumors are one thing, but the Community Shield is when, for me, I think it's gone beyond rumors now. I think it's gone beyond rumors to actually, you know, you can leave. He's not been in the 2 match day squads, and that puts the subject for debate. Now, I use these terms loosely, but are the club forcing him out? You know, are the club trying to force his hand? Is it one where, you know what, we've conceded? Bearing in mind, Wanyeri's been on the bench and he probably goes on loan. Wanyeri's going on loan. Miles Lewis Skelly rumors are dead. We know we want to bring in a left winger at some point. Konza, Timber, William Saliba. And if we bring in a left winger, that's 4 men that need to be in that match day squad. Somebody's got to go. I imagine Wanyeri goes out on loan. I'd imagine Wanyeri goes out on loan. I don't know. To be honest, I think Max Dowman, you know, him being 16, obviously I want him involved in the first team and whatnot, but there isn't necessarily a pressing need for him to be in every match day squad. So I think it's easy to leave out the Highlanders. And just generally, regardless of, you know, the names I've said, bro, there's a fight. It's one thing getting in the starting 11. It's one day getting in the match day squad. Now, we know it's very easy at the start of the season. Soon it's 2 games a week, 3 games in 10 days, suspensions, loss of form, change in team dynamics, injuries. We saw last season, not just for us, but a lot of teams, right? How vital that is. So something's got to give in it. And Martinelli probably has a market. If we can get 60 odd million, I know you're seeing certain other fees for certain players and thinking, raw, like we should get a bit more. But I am conflicted. It's almost like you don't want to. But again, the Martinellis, the Trossards, the Gabriel Jesuses of this world, you man can leave with your head held high because we've achieved something, people. Even, I'd imagine next season, Benjamin White's going to be moved on. So that's my thoughts on Martinelli. It needs to happen, but surely Martinelli doesn't leave unless we get in a left winger. Like, what if even, because I'd imagine Mikel Arteta likes Martinelli. Like I said, tool in the toolbox. Not saying we can't upgrade. Zolis is first choice, but what if Berta is saying, yo, listen, I'm just making things up, but for argument's sake, we're linked with Julian Alvarez. What if he says, listen, we need to make spots, we need to get some P's in, do your part to make Martinelli understand that, yo, I like you and whatnot, but the level of first team football that you might think you can get here, you're not getting there. Try not force him out, but force the issue. Because when he was linked with Galatasaray, we not only saw David Ornstein come out with that, but apparently he informed his camp. And it feels like things are changing. So a move probably is imminent. Surely we only bring in a left winger if Martinelli goes. Or, you know, if Martinelli goes, you have to bring in a left winger. Then you look at Kai Havertz and Gyokeres. Now, it's a weird one. Kai Havertz is better for the system. Gyokeres is a better goal scorer. You wish you could merge them together. None of them strikers are like a Haaland or something like that. Beyond the obvious, you're not. Regardless, you're the striker for 38 games. It's different game states. Sometimes Kai's going to do it. Sometimes Gyokeres is going to do it. I've seen Kai score goals, even though I don't think that's a strong point. I've seen Gyokeres link up play, even though that's not a strong point. You wish you could merge them together. Now, I do feel sorry for Gyokeres, if I'm honest, and Kai, because I think Kai has divided opinion, rightly so at times, but I think he's clearly a decent player for us. He clearly is a very good player and he helps us out. Whether he's going to be the difference maker, at some point, we're going to have to look beyond Kai Havertz and Gyokeres as a striker, innit? It's a weird one because if we were to get a pure number 9 that can do the false 9 stuff, that can press, that can get goals, my bias would actually be to keep Gyokeres because I just see you as kind of a sideman, like a rotationary piece, a bit of a bulldozer, someone that can affect the game states. There's going to be times Gyokeres starts, doesn't do anything. Kai comes off the bench, scores, and vice versa. I think Kai is more intelligent and all of those things. I don't really buy the Julian Alvarez stuff unless one of Kai Havertz or Gyokeres leaves. I feel sorry for Gyokeres because we've needed a striker. I think, yes, his first touch and all of that stuff is poor, but I think just because I think people can be aesthetic merchants, and even I'm one of them. I don't think he's world class, top class, but I do think he gets a bit of a bad time. Like the man, one thing I like about him is his mentality. Like he clearly one of them. The man got 14 league goals, 21 in all comps, signed for 55, 60 odd million. And I do think because we wanted a striker and all the hype and all the stuff at Sporting, people are putting him in, I thought he was something he's not in it sort of thing. Obviously, I think Gyokeres is more likely to go than Kai Havertz. I think both of them, something needs to happen. So I do feel sorry for Gyokeres. I must admit, I don't really buy the Gyokeres rumors. I think they mainly come out of, Sesko was the first choice, etc. Obviously, if Atletico Madrid are saying either, you know what, we should try and give them Martinelli. But if they're saying, you know what, give us Gyokeres and some P's, we can make something happen. I'm sure even Simeone spoke about a striker. And to be fair, if Gyokeres left tomorrow, 14 league goals, 21 goals in all comps, you won the Prem, good for one season, innit, really? My biggest problem is Arteta likes Kai in it, so I don't want to see Kai Havertz in midfield, but I do feel sorry for Gyokeres. For me, I like both of them. I think Kai is better for the system. He's better for the false nine. I think we flow a bit better with him. I think Gyokeres can do something that we struggle to do in that scoring goals. If I'm completely honest with you, and I know not everyone could be in the match day squad, if I'm completely honest with you, neither should be like first names on the team sheet for Arsenal Football Club. You lot should be serviceable parts throughout a season. Like, it would be nice to have you lot mix and blended in the squad. So I don't really believe the Gyokeres leaving stuff. Martinelli, it seems like he goes. As for who this left winger is that we get, or attack, let's just say attacker, because there's rumors about striker, there's rumors about a left winger. Surely there's got to be some dominoes falling. I don't know if we're involved in the Bacola stuff. I don't really give too much thought to that. I don't really believe the Julian Alvarez stuff, but it's a weird one, and we're gonna have to get comfortable with difficult decisions. The better we get, players are going to have to go, rightly or wrongly. We might sell, man, and it doesn't work out, or we think, why did we let that go? But I do think Arsenal fans have to get comfortable with that. Like I said earlier, unless your name is Bukayo Saka, Declan Rice, Saliba, Gabriel, Raya, them kind of things, I think it's up for debate. You know, I love Miles Lewis-Kelly. I think it's stupid if we ever sold him, but probably not because of what he does on the football field. There's been speculation. Wanyeri could be someone that goes. I like this. There's people that I think are serviceable throughout a season. The Marinos, the Kai Havertzes, the Gyokereses, the Martinellis. When you're in that kind of category, things can happen. And to be honest, the better we get, these things kind of need to happen. But that was just my thoughts, man. Please let me know in the comments and let me know yours.